and welcome to We Sleep Out's first online workshop. We're going to be producing lots of different online resources such as tutorials and workshops both for fun and for education over the coming days and weeks. We're doing this during the COVID-19 lockdown as a way to help keep all of those young minds entertained. So, today's online workshop is going to be all about social enterprise. As the co-founder of SocialBite, one of the leading social enterprises in Scotland, I'm going to guide you through some of the things that you might want to think about if you were going to start a social enterprise of your very own. Just a little side note, if you've somehow found yourself on this video and you don't know what SocialBite is, it might help to understand what it is just to understand how social enterprise can work. So I'm gonna throw up a link to one of our lovely animated videos. Back in 2012, we opened the very first SocialBite in Edinburgh. But this wasn't any old cafe. And I'll put the link for the full video in the description below. So by the end of this workshop, you should have a theoretical social enterprise that if you want, you can then go and build in real life too. To kick things off, I want to share a quote with you. This is a quote from Steve Jobs, and this is a quote that really embodies a lot of SocialBite's attitude. I think it perfectly describes the way that we work, and it's a really good one for you to get into your head. It's something that I think young people really need to understand. So here is that quote. When you grow up, you tend to get told that the world is the way that it is, and your life is just to live your life inside the world. Try not to bash into the walls too much. Try to have a nice family, have fun, save a little money. That's a very limited life. Life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact. Everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again. So really what Steve Jobs is trying to explain is the idea that everything around us, our physical world, our world inside of our phones, it was all made up by just other people that came along before you and I and built something before we got here. Whether you're talking about Instagram or a chair, it's all the same stuff. It's all been made by businesses, by people who came up with ideas and decided to make something a reality. And something I think that's really important for young people to understand is that you can do the same. Now for this, the only things that you're going to need is maybe a pen and piece of paper if you like to write down your thoughts, and also some kind of timer. So if you've got a phone, that's ideal. And with Steve Jobs' quote in mind, let's begin our brainstorming session. The first thing that you need to think about is what your social issue would be. So I want you to choose whatever you're most passionate about. Don't think about the rest of the business right now. You don't need to worry about that. I just want you to think about what social issue you would like to work on. So your social issue could be anything. It could be homelessness, like SocialBite, or it could be global warming or animal cruelty or protection of children or LGBTQ rights or racism. There are so many incredible and worthy social issues out there. Which one speaks to you the most? So take out your timer, set it to 60 seconds, and you're only going to give yourself 60 seconds to decide what your social issue is going to be. You might want to jog your memory by taking to the internet to remember some of the worthy causes that you've seen out there, but you are only allowed 60 seconds until you have to have written down or decided on what your social issue is going to be. So you're going to want to hit pause on this video while you do your 60-second brainstorming. Okay, go. Okay, I hope you managed to find a social issue that you really care about. Now, the next two of our 60 seconds brainstorming sessions are going to be a little bit more tricky, but if you manage to make it through the next two, the last part of this workshop is where the really exciting bits can happen. So this one is tackle that social issue. So what that means is just for you to think of anything in the world that could help that social issue not be such a big problem anymore. What could be done to make that social issue less of an issue? Try to think of as many ideas as you can. Try not to be too judgmental of the ideas you're having and just write them down as quickly as they come to you. The more you have, the better chance you have of finding the good idea. Okay, so ideas as to how you could tackle that social issue. Get your timer ready, pause the video and go. Okay, now hopefully you have managed to think of some things that could be done to help that issue. The next stage is going to be called monetize that issue. So what that means is that you're going to find ways to try and make money out of doing something to tackle that issue. So if you think about some of the things that you came up with as ways to tackle that issue, how might you make money out of those things? Are they services that somebody else would be benefiting from if you were to perform them? Maybe you could charge those people for those services. If you don't think you could charge people for your product or service, then maybe you could charge bigger companies to sponsor you so that you can still do the good work. After all, it's in big companies' interest to support causes like yours so that they're seen to be giving back. And here's a little tip. It's okay to ask those big companies with all the money for some of that money to do good work. And the final option, if you can't think of any other ways to make money from tackling that issue, you could look at creating any other type of traditional profit-making business and using all of those profits to send towards other organizations that know how to tackle that issue. The most important thing to a social enterprise is that the social issue gets addressed. So you don't need to worry about how much profit you can make, because any profit that is generated by a social enterprise would be given to a worthy cause anyway. And remember, this doesn't mean that your staff don't get paid. Every employee who works for a social enterprise will be paid, but all of the profit that a company makes on the top, that's what you'd use to go towards all of the good work you wanted to do. So the best way to think of a social enterprise is really any other business that pays its bills and pays its staff a fair wage. And then the way that it's different is you take the greed out of it. So all of the profit that might normally go to just a few people at the top tends to get put out to good causes or put back into the social enterprise to help expand it and reach more people. So now that we understand what I mean when I say monetize that issue, let's think about ways that you could make money out of tackling that issue. You're going to give yourself 60 seconds again. So grab your timer and get ready to hit pause on this video. And go. Okay, I hope you got on well with that round, and I hope you're managing to stick to the 60 seconds. I know it can be tough, and I just want you to know that if you did manage to think of some ways to monetize that issue, you basically just invented a social enterprise. So now let's add some fun stuff. Those of you that are familiar with Social Bytes work will know that we have often been lucky enough to have celebrities come and endorse our work. This can be a really fun and a very effective way of spreading the word about your cause. It helps you to build up a good profile with other corporate partners, and it helps you to build up a profile with the general public who you'll want to support your social enterprise. So, the next round is going to be choose your ambassador. You got to think of which celebrity would be the perfect ambassador for your cause. Maybe they've already shown an interest in the topic that you've chosen, or maybe you think that they would be the perfect fit for a different reason. Whatever it is, dream big. And remember, Social Byte was started by two 20-something-year-olds, Josh and me. He grew up in Stirling and I grew up in the Highlands, and we were a couple of normal kids. So if we can do it, so can you. So try to come up with more than one idea. Let's have as many as possible, and get your timer ready and get ready to hit pause on this video and go. Okay, brilliant. I hope you had lots of fun thinking of which celebrities would be a great fit. So in terms of how you would go about getting these celebrities, there are so many different ways and approaches. I think I'll do a whole new video for that in a couple of weeks' time, so keep an eye out for that. But for now, I'd like to move on to talking about viral videos. A really amazing way to get the word out about your work is to put together a video that you can post on social media and have lots and lots of people share it and see it. That's just how people receive information these days. And as we all know, a viral video has to have some really interesting content. Now, people love sharing good news stories, and your viral video probably would fall in that realm. And doing good for other people or the planet always makes people happy. Okay, get your timer ready. And you're gonna give yourself 60 seconds to think of all of the viral video concepts that you can possibly think of. Get ready to hit pause on this video and go. Now that one can be really difficult to finish at 60 seconds, and hey, if you decided to have longer so you could come up with more ideas, then brilliant. So that's us coming to the end of our workshop now. During this brainstorming session, you have identified social issues that you are passionate about, how you could create a social enterprise around that social issue, who might be a brilliant celebrity to get involved, and some concepts for viral videos to promote the idea. This type of thinking and these kinds of decisions are the sorts of things that entrepreneurs have to think about all the time. So well done. I hope you've enjoyed the Social Enterprise Workshop. Maybe you're even feeling a little bit inspired. And I hope that if you love your idea enough, you can go off and maybe turn it into a real thing one day. If you're feeling particularly proud of your idea and you want to share it with us, then please just find us on social media. I'll put the info in the description, and share your ideas with us. And thank you so much for taking part, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.